different view on this. To my good friend from Oregon, who has been a real gentleman to work with, and you got a great staff, and I appreciate our ability to work together, but we have a little different view of what we're doing here tonight. So I'm going to give you our side of the story. I got charts too. I never thought I'd have a chart, but I got one. We're trying to do sort of four things tonight. Start a process that we can make the tax cuts permanent, give money to the Department of Homeland Security to continue to secure our border, cut trillions of dollars of waste, which does exist, and support our military. Now, the bill tonight, the resolution, opens up that process that will be done by the House and the Senate authorizing committees. So this doesn't do anything other than start the game. And it's time this game started. Now, what's in this for you if you're not a billionaire, which I am not? If we do nothing, the 2017 President Trump tax cuts expire in December. None of them voted for it. They're going to expire, and what does that mean to you? 6 million jobs will be lost. The average taxpayer would see a 22% tax hike if the tax cuts expire. A family of four making $80,610, the median income in the United States, would see a $1,695 tax increase if they expire this December. This is worth about 9 weeks of groceries. 40 million families would see their household child tax credit cut in half. If any of y'all listening out there that not a billionaire, you might want to keep listening. If this expires, you're going to get hit hard, and we don't want that. 26 million small businesses would be hit with a 43.4% top tax rate if Section 199A of the small business deduction expires. Now, why I know about that one? I can't walk 5 feet in South Carolina without somebody begging me to make sure that expensing and deductions and accelerated depreciation doesn't go away because they run a business. Our friends over there run the government. That's all they know. They're very good at making it bigger, not very good at making it efficient. There's no amount of money that's enough for these folks. So if you're looking for that crowd over there to cut your taxes, you're looking in the wrong direction. I got about 100 years to prove that point. The point I'm trying to make is these tax cuts expiring matter to real people raising a family and trying to run a business, particularly small business. This would be devastating. We're not going to let that happen. Now, if you're waiting for this crowd, our friends on the other side, to cut spending, you're going to die waiting. Now, we have a chance as Republicans, if we pass this resolution tonight, to cut spending and make the tax cuts permanent without one Democratic vote. It's called reconciliation. To my Republican friends who may be watching, 4 times in the last 100 years, the Republicans had the House, the Senate, and the White House. This doesn't happen a lot. But with that construct, through reconciliation, what we're starting here tonight, if we get 50 plus 1, we can make the tax cuts permanent and cut spending without one Democratic vote. This is what they use, Democratic friends, to pass Obamacare, all the spending around infrastructure spending, Inflation Reduction Act, which really didn't do much to reduce inflation. They've done this, and we're going to do it a different way. They did it to grow the government. We're going to do it in a way to get more money back to you. And we're going to look at the budget we have up here and see if we can find a way to save some money. Don't you think it's time that we looked at the budget up here like you look at your budget? And we're going to do that. And we're going to secure our border. We don't talk enough about this. In this package, there's $175 billion that will allow the Trump administration to finish the wall. Now, President Trump said during the State of the Union address The Democrats said we needed new laws. We just really did need a new president. We got a new president, and the flow has really almost stopped. One of the most amazing things that we don't talk enough about. But we want to make sure it doesn't come back on again. So this bill gives the Department of Homeland Security, ICE, Tom Homan, $175 billion to finish the wall, to build, to find more detention bed space, 40,000 to 125,000, so we don't have to let people go. Laken Riley, who was killed by a legal immigrant, he was released because they had no bed space. We don't ever do that again. We're going to build enough detention beds so we don't have to release anybody. I think most people like that. We're going to hire more ICE agents to kick the gang members and the crooks out faster so we can get control of our country and our security. This bill allows $175 billion. That's enough for the entire 4 years, if Republicans stick together. So, as a Republican, you said you want to cut waste, you want to cut people's taxes, and you want to secure the border. Your ship has come in. What's near and dear to my heart, like most everybody here, including our Democratic friends, is supporting our military. Well, the budget agreement we reached a few years ago was terrible. The continuing resolution to fund the government through September is below that number. We're spending below inflation on our military. In case you haven't missed it, the world's literally on fire. So this bill gives the Pentagon $150 billion right now to help them upgrade their capability to deal with threats like Iran getting a nuclear weapon. This is good stuff. And the only thing standing between you and this good stuff is a vote tonight continuing a process in the House and the Senate to make it a reality. But if we don't get it right tonight, all this dies. All this opportunity dies if Republicans don't stick together, and you know what? We will. All right, so now all this stuff about me and the budget chairman. What did I do? Well, I made a decision. Last time I checked, if you win an election, you get to make decisions. You know, I'm the budget chairman. It's been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot, I can tell you that. So in the 1974 Budget Control Act, when it comes to spending, you never have to offset it. Anything above $50 million in spending, you can use current policy, which is a budget scoring device that just assumes everything goes forever, no offsets. It's my belief that when it comes to tax reductions, I, as the budget chairman, can apply that same concept called current policy to the budget on this floor, and I will do that. I have done that. Now, what does that mean? If we're able to do for taxes what we've done for spending, that means the tax cuts never expire again, and you don't have this cliff putting everybody at risk. That means if we pass what we've put together in the Budget Committee, and Senator Marshall's a member of the committee, we passed a really good proposal to make sure that these tax cuts that we're going to reauthorize stay in place so people throughout the country can count on some certainty when it comes to tax credits for their children, deductions and expensing for their businesses, and having lower rates. I did it. I am proud to do it. And my Democratic friends who are hollering and screaming have done it too, but it always relates to spending. So Judd Gregg, who's a good friend of ours, one of the smartest guys I ever met, was on the Budget Committee. He and Kent Conrad were a great team. And there was a question, can the Farm Bill be added to the baseline? And here's what Judd Gregg said about a Democrat's ability to do that. The chairman of the Budget Committee declared the new baseline under a new budget. The budget chairman has a right to do that. The budget chairman changed the baseline to accommodate the Farm Bill. I'm declaring current policy to make sure the tax cuts stay in place. And when there was an inquiry of a parliamentarian about whose job it is to declare the baseline, this was what Judd Gregg asked: Who is the proper scorer of points of order relative to revenues and expenses? And here's what was said. The senator is entitled to an answer under Congressional Budget Act of 1974, termination of points of order, Section 312, the Budget Committee determination for purposes of this title and Title IV, the levels measuring budget authority outlays, direct spending, new entitlement authority, revenues for fiscal year shall be determined on the basis of the estimates made by the committee on the budget of the House of Representatives or the Senate as applicable. That's us. That's me. They asked that question in 2008, and that's what they said. Judge Gregg said it's the Budget Committee chairman's authority to determine the baseline, and that's what I did. Okay. And even Bernie agreed, so we don't need to overly dwell on that. This is what the law says. Revenues and spending shall be determined on the basis of estimates made by the committee on the budget of the House of Representatives or the Senate as applicable. That's us. We're elected officials. And wouldn't it be odd if you wrote a law that somebody would manage the law nobody voted for? It makes like 0 sense. All right, now, next one, is that it? Okay, so bottom line, tax cuts are going to be permanent. It will help the economy. And when it comes to estimating what happens around here, CBO, great people, JCT, Joint Commission on Taxation, they make estimates. The one thing they've been consistent about is being wrong when it comes to tax revenue. They've got it wrong like every time. So if history is any guide to what's happened in the past, we're going to get more revenue by cutting taxes. Why do I know that? Because it always happens. What happens all the time too? When we get the new money, we spend it faster than we get it. That's going to stop. If you live in the real world, you get a pay raise. That's a great thing. But if you spend it all and then some, you go right back in debt. So we're going to do two things. We're going to start a process that will allow the tax cuts to be permanent, to give the economy certainty to grow, to create more revenue, to help the government do what it needs to do. And we're going to cut spending to make sure that we lower the amount we're spending because we're spending too much, with the hope of one day doing this, balancing the budget. I said it. I have not been struck dead yet. Our goal to the American people is to create more revenue and lower spending to balance the budget like you do. Now, we don't do this in this resolution, but we start the process because we're $30-something trillion in debt. The only thing between the tax cuts being permanent, having money to secure the border, help the military, and what's the other thing that we're going to do? Cutting spending, is a vote tonight, sometime after midnight, before breakfast, I hope, we'll have a vote in the United States Senate that will trigger a process to do these 4 things. I am proud of the Budget Committee. We've worked hard. I am proud of Leader Thune, who's pushed this process forward. I appreciate the cooperation to the extent they can do it on the other side. We have a philosophical difference. I totally understand that. But we've chosen a different path. And a major step along that path will occur later tonight. And if we get this right, by Memorial Day, it's my fervent hope and prayer, and I just talked to President Trump, that we can pass one big, beautiful bill that makes the 2017 tax cuts permanent and even more tax on tips for all those people working out there as waiters and waitresses. We have a chance here to look at the federal budget line by line to make sure things in there that make no sense are taken out to save you money. And boy, we're going to have some fun tonight talking about those things. And if you believe securing the border is a good thing and what we're doing is the right thing, by Memorial Day, we'll have fully funded what President Trump needs for all 4 years. That will be amazing. And if you're in the military, money is coming your way to help you do your job to make sure the rest of us are safe. And we're going to fix the problem with the continuing resolution by giving the military less than inflation at a time when the world's literally on fire. So if we can get it right tonight, by Memorial Day, I'm hoping and praying that the men and women in uniform will have $150 billion they desperately need to do their job and to stay safe. This is the most important thing I have done yet in the Senate, in my view. I've set in motion, along with my colleagues, and if there's ever a team sport, it's politics, the ability to do something we haven't done before. Makes taxes and spending the same in terms of policy. Quit playing this game that the American people lose. You will not lose $1 revenue if we make these tax cuts permanent. You'll get more money. But if you keep spending more and more, that doesn't matter. But if you get more revenue and you cut spending, one day we will be on a glide path to balance this budget. It is my fervent desire to do that, and President Trump wants to do it. Let it be said that that starts tonight. I yield.